Okay, welcome to a Blu-ray unboxing. One DVD actually, no, two DVDs actually, and one Blu-ray. Although it was supposed to be three Blu-rays and two DVDs, but two of the Blu-rays that were part of this order from Savi, I accidentally opened, not realizing that it was part of the Savi delivery. So I have opened up two of them, but I'm just gonna show you those first, and then we'll move on to the actual unboxing. Yeah, these five titles I bought them from Savi, and yeah, I found some good deals. I mean, yeah, I'll get to what I paid and stuff when I get to the individual titles, but I also have some more stuff after that. I thought that I might as well add some other stuff that I've been watching and that I bought lately or recently. So after the unboxing, I'm going to show you some stuff that I have not shown you before, so like a regular Blu-ray update, and then after that I have some stuff that I have shown you before in unboxings and stuff, but I hadn't seen them then, so I'll just offer some brief thoughts on some movies that I've seen recently. Let's move on to the unboxing first. So, well, I should say before that I have the two titles that I opened off camera. And they are two Studio Ghibli films, and they are the two ones that I wanted the most out of the ones that I didn't have. So after these, there's not really a whole lot that I'm dying to get, although of course I'm planning on getting them all eventually. But with Only Yesterday and When Marnie Was There, I now have all the ones that I really wanted. So I haven't seen these yet, but I really look forward to them. This one in particular, I gotta say, because I really enjoyed Arrietty by this director, and I think I'll enjoy this too. I think what's his name, Yonebayashi something, yeah. I think his movies might be a lot easier to digest than Takahata's movies, but I do have to admit that I look forward to this more. But this looks really good too. This looks very good. Only Yesterday. This was released only yesterday. No, but this year, I think, maybe last year, but pretty recently anyway. A pretty recent Studio Ghibli release, at least on Blu-ray. I mean, the movie is quite old, but it didn't have a Blu-ray release until pretty recently. But yeah, so these were part of a 2 for $25 offer at Savi. So I've been waiting for Amazon to put the Studio Ghibli movies back in, because Amazon, they removed that offer, or at least they removed the certain titles from the offer, because they had the same offer before, 2 for $25, and I know that these were part of that offer before, but I didn't end up getting them, and then by the time that I wanted to get them, the offer was not available anymore, or at least not these, and since then I've waited for a similar offer to present itself, and now it did. So cool. Two Studio Ghibli movies that I've not seen that I really look forward to. Now let's move on to the stuff that I haven't opened, although this one I just opened to make sure that it was part of the order, because I wasn't entirely sure. The box didn't let me know, but it is what I thought it would be, and it is the Louis Malle documentaries collection, released by Artificial Eye, and this is a DVD set, but it was not released on Blu-ray. And even if it was, I mean, these documentaries, I don't know if they would benefit from Blu-ray, or I don't know if it matters. But Louis Malle, I have a couple of his movies, and I've seen a couple, but I'm much more interested in his documentaries than his live action films or whatever. So it's kind of similar as with, I'm a big fan of documentaries, and someone like Werner Herzog, I'm a big fan of him, but if it wasn't for his documentaries, I wouldn't have known too much about his movie. I mean, I would have known about his movies, but I wouldn't have considered myself a fan necessarily. So, yeah, maybe it's like the same thing here. His Louis Malle's documentaries, they interest me. I haven't seen them yet, so I don't know if I like them, but I have a feeling I will. Yeah, anyway. So we have the titles here. Phantom India. I'm not going to pronounce them all, but here's the all the content. So this looks great. I've been wanting this. This was released recently, this set, and it's the same contents, I believe, as the Criterion DVD, the Eclipse release, which I really wanted that. But when I saw that Artificial Eye was going to release this, I thought, well, if I can get this cheaper than the Criterion, then it doesn't matter which one I get. And this was a little bit cheaper, so I just got this. So that's great. I don't know about special features. I don't know if it matters. Special features, you know, I don't know if the Criterion set has more or not. But again, I just want to see the actual documentaries. So that's great. I really have been wanting that for a while. As with these two, by the way, this is all foreign cinema, you could say, at least the unboxing. This one, I believe this is the DVD, because yeah, it's the light one. So this is a DVD that a second run released a while ago that I've been interested in, not knowing anything about the movie, but I just saw the release popped up on Amazon, and I looked it up, and it looked like my kind of movie. Whether or not it will be remains to be seen, but I'm gonna check this out pretty soon. But it's a Hungarian film from 1942. I think I don't know if the director is Hungarian. I'm not sure, but it does say Hungary here, so I guess it's a Hungarian production, or filmed in Hungary with Hungarian language. Yeah, language Hungarian. So yeah, I can't say I know much about the Hungarian cinema of the 1940s, but it does look like a very interesting film that is one of those movies that I've added to my like Amazon and Savi, and this is available. I don't know if, I don't really know. Second run, you can buy their DVDs from Arrow's website, so I don't know if it's some kind of sub-label of Arrow Films or something, I don't know, but so I've added, but I have added the DVD on Arrow's website too, as well as Savi and Amazon multiple times, and I just never ended up actually ordering it. I just, yeah, anyway, I never found the right time to get it, but now I finally did, so that's great. This is a pretty obscure movie. I don't think this had a wide release in any way before this DVD. At least not on physical media. Well, so it's a pretty obscure movie, but I'm looking forward to it. And then this Blu-ray set, or yeah, it is a Masters of Cinema release, Edvard Munch. It says a film by Peter Watkins. I'm guessing he's not a Norwegian director. Doesn't sound like it. But Edvard Munch, he was a Norwegian, a Norwegian expressionist painter, and I'm guessing this is a Norwegian film. I mean, the director doesn't seem to be from Norway, but I'm guessing it's basically a Norwegian film. Beyond that, I don't know. Anyway, Norwegian language. Anyway, it does say Norway, Sweden actually. And speaking of Sweden, it says, described by Ingmar Bergman as a work of genius. Yeah, I think he was the one who you'd probably recognize the painting. I think it's called The Scream, maybe. If you search for his name, you'll definitely find it, and I don't think anyone will not recognize that painting. So I guess we'll see when he comes up with that painting in this film. It's a long film, 221 minutes, so like 3 hours 40 minutes. So a pretty long film for sure. But I think this is one of those films that definitely benefits from a long running time. And it appears like it has a booklet too, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, so I'd like to get to this soon, but knowing the length, it might be a while, but I'm gonna try to get to it pretty soon. Anyway, so if you know more about this film than I do, then please leave a comment. But that's the the unboxing of the haul stuff, really cool stuff. This was 10% off for some reason. I didn't have a code or anything, but in the cart it said buy 2 or more get 10% off. These were not apparently eligible for that, but these 3 were, so I got these for 10% off, so that's good. Okay, so that's that. Now let's move on to the other stuff. I'm gonna be pretty brief here. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Blu-rays and 1 DVD that I've picked up lately. We have The Lost City of C, or Zed. One of these crappy Swedish releases. Somebody described Swedish Blu-ray release, I mean the Swedish physical media market or whatever, as the third world of Blu-ray releases or something like that. And I can definitely agree with that. There's a lot of, they don't really seem to, I don't know much about how it works over here with the releasing of films, but whoever is in charge, they don't seem to care much about releasing a nice Blu-ray. I mean, they just put a cover on there, and then there's the information on the back, and then no extras, just ship it out. And the main problem is the lack of extras, with which a lot of these releases they're lacking. So that's a shame. So lately I have started to, before purchasing Blu-rays from Sweden, although I can get them a lot cheaper most of the time, I am careful to look on the back. I make sure to see like a photo of the back of the Blu-ray before I get it. Because I want to make sure that it has the extras on it, which this one doesn't have. But I pre-ordered this quite a while ago, and it's been laying around waiting for me to see it for a while too. So, but anyway, the film is the most important part. But I just wanted to mention that I am starting to reconsider all my pre-orders of Swedish Blu-rays. But anyway, the movie itself was good. Yeah, it's about Charlie Hunnam's character. He travels to it was the border of I don't remember what countries, Brazil and some other country maybe. But I think he's sent down there to map out the border, because the two countries, they can't get along. They can't, they need some neutral party or a third party or whatever to do that. So he's sent down there. But then I guess he ends up becoming more fascinated by this lost city of C that he hears about. And not to spoil too much, but throughout the movie, I feel like the mystery surrounding the city was meant to have had a larger effect than it had on me. Because by the end, I felt like there's no mystery surrounding this. I just didn't feel like... I didn't feel what the character felt at all concerning this city. It hadn't been properly conveyed in a way. But I don't know. But the movie itself was beyond that. It was very good for the most part, but it was a bit too long. Could have been a little bit shorter. It's 2 hours 18 minutes. So I didn't feel like it needed that long, because the impression it left wasn't that strong that the running time might imply, if that makes sense. But anyway, it was a good film. I just feel like it could have done a few things a lot better. But the things that it did do well definitely had me hooked. But anyway, some horror here. Don't Breathe. Yeah, I tried to get some more horror for this year's October, which I did, and I watched this among a few others. And this was very good. I think they talk about a sequel too, which I can definitely see. It doesn't feel forced as a lot of sequels do. I feel like I'm interested in finding out the continuation. So, but good film. In that same order, I got this, Mama, but I've actually not seen it. Well, I have seen part of it, but I had to turn it off because I don't remember, it was late and I got tired, and then the next day I just didn't feel like continuing. So, I might come back to it one day, but for now I'm just gonna put that aside. I got Get Out as a pre-order too, although this one does have extras, which a lot of them do, to be fair. But there are definitely releases that lack the extras. Anyway, this was a really good movie. I feel like people have talked about it to the point where I don't really need to talk too much about it. But it was a real. There are some scenes in here that are genuinely creepy and unsettling. Then I saw this a few days ago, Alien Covenant, which I had mixed emotions about, for sure. I ended up feeling at the end of it like, alright, so exactly what was the point of that? I mean, Ridley, the main part I like about these new Alien movies is Ridley Scott's ambition. I love seeing that ambition in him, him wanting to go back to the Alien franchise and explore some more stuff. I'm all for that, but I just didn't think the movie was all that great. There were so many things that they could have done better, and a few things that I wasn't sure what to think about. The characters were pretty poor. I feel like I thought she was supposed to be like the main character, that she was supposed to be the Ripley of this one, or I forget the character's name, but Noomi Rapace from Prometheus, that she was supposed to be the heroine, the female hero of this movie. But I didn't feel like she was in the end of it. I feel like this was mainly like the Michael Fassbender show. And some of those scenes, they were a bit too much. The flute scene, I don't know if Ridley tried to be comedic in that. I don't know what the hell he was trying to do, to be honest. But that was just ridiculous. I don't know if that worked. I have heard people praising this though, and I'm not opposed to watching it again at some point and maybe changing my mind, and maybe in the future when the next one comes out, I'll go back and I'll think some more about this, and maybe I'll change my mind about a few things. But as it stands now, I'm mainly skeptical towards. I don't know. There's just too much in this that I didn't like. But anyway, and then I got a little movie called King Kong, and this is the. I think this might have been re-released now. I don't know, but I got this a while ago. It's an Italian release because the US digibook, I think it's an American digibook that I had my eyes on for a while, was really expensive, and then I found this, and it seemed like a pretty good alternative. It comes with the 1926, or maybe no, I don't know, maybe not 1926. I don't know what year it is, but The Lost World from the 20s, which I have not seen yet. But I just wanted the movie. I just wanted to see the original King Kong again, and I did. And strangely, even though it's been so long since I saw the original movie, like I must have been continuously reminded of it over the years, because watching it again, it felt like I had just seen it. It felt so familiar. But I guess it's one of those classic movies that you're not gonna forget about, and you're always seeing scenes from King Kong in documentaries and stuff like that. So I guess it just felt too familiar for me to fully enjoy it again. I didn't feel like I needed to watch it again, because I knew perfectly well what was going to happen and everything about it, and it didn't feel like I needed to rewatch it, which is weird because, yeah, I've been wanting to rewatch it for years. I've only seen it once, I think, and that was, 8 years ago, probably. So, I don't know. Anyway, obviously a great movie, but I expected to enjoy it more. And then we have one DVD that I picked up cheap before we get to the other stuff that I'm going to briefly talk about, the other stuff that I have unboxed before. An Icelandic film, Life in a Fishbowl. I've looked into some Icelandic films lately. I've seen a couple. This is the third Icelandic film that I know I've seen. I might have seen more that I'm forgetting about, but I kind of doubt it, because now, researching Icelandic cinema, I didn't find any other films that I had seen. So I think this is just the third film that I've seen from Iceland, but it doesn't seem like they've had a very long career or a long history of making films. But it does. I mean, it is definitely an interesting country. Now, to keep track on the movies that come out of Iceland now is definitely something that I want to do. because it strikes me as the films are interesting. This one was a bit different than the other two that I've seen. The other two, they have focused a lot on the very spectacular scenery of Iceland. But this one was more like, I don't know, more urban maybe, more about the characters, more so than the landscape. So definitely a different movie from the other ones that I've seen. But it was still good. But I felt like it basically has three main characters, and one of them I just didn't care about I didn't care about him. I feel like they could have left that out and just focused on this character and her. Because I didn't feel like the other character added anything to the story. There were some good scenes involving that character for sure, but it didn't feel necessary to me, and it just ended up having too many scenes going on for a bit too long, because this is a 2-hour movie and it could have been shorter than that. But overall, a good film. Okay, now I'm gonna be very brief here, but I'm gonna talk about a few things that I've been watching. So I watched Let Me In, which I recently saw the Swedish version again and loved it. Well, I knew I did because I loved it. I loved it the first time I saw it. But so after that, I wanted to watch this again, which I had seen before, but I don't know if I was a big fan of this back when it came out. But I wanted to give it another chance because I had been hearing people talking about it, you know, as a really good remake. And I have to say that this is a really good remake. I mean, the only thing that is better about the original is the fact that it's the original. I mean, there are a few things that might be a little bit better in the Swedish version. Like some of the sound design, some of the I like the you know, the color, the colors in the original. It feels colder, and anyway, but this is a really good a really good remake that I ended up absolutely loving, I gotta say. And this is a shitty Blu-ray. It's all broken and used, but anyway, great movie, great actors. I feel like if they casted anyone else than Chloe Grace Moretz and Cody Smith McPhee, I think his name is, if they casted anyone else, you know, another couple of kids, it would not have been as good, because they were really good, I gotta say. And yeah, it's not easy to find two truly great child actors like that, but this is some great casting. Okay, I bought this a while ago, and I've seen Malatesta's Carnival of Blood, and it's making me reconsider buying this, because I'm sorry, but it was not a good movie. I don't know if these two are meant to be better. I kind of doubt it. But this one, I didn't like it at all. Not at all. So I might have to get rid of this box set, because I know I can get some money for it. But if you've seen the other two, please let me know what you think. I watched The Front, which I don't honestly have too much to say about. It's just that I watched it a couple of days ago, so I just put it in the pile. But it was good. It definitely has an interesting plot. It's about takes place in 1953, in the McCarthy era, or whatever. You know, when people were blacklisted for being communists or sympathizers. You know, and you know, that's something that actually happened. And a lot of the people who were involved in the making of this movie, apparently, which I found out at the end of the movie in the credits, they were apparently blacklisted too. So a lot of the people who, even the director, seemed to have been blacklisted in the early 50s. So that definitely adds to it. But even if that wasn't the case, I mean, the story is so interesting that it's a good movie. I mean, it's basically about Woody Allen, who did not direct this, by the way. he basically lets I can't even explain it. There are other people who've been blacklisted, and they give Woody Allen their scripts, and then he publishes them in his name, basically. Yeah, but I feel like the movie was definitely good, but it didn't really grab me ultimately. But this next one did. Aquarius, a film from Brazil, I think. Yeah, by this. I gotta say, after listening to the interview by this director on this Blu-ray, I'm really interested in whatever has coming out next, because he had a lot of interesting stuff to say. But the movie is it's really good. It has such depth when it comes to the characters, the story, the details, all of it. There's such depth and detail to it that I feel like that alone warrants the running length, because it's a long movie, 146 minutes, and you could argue that not a lot really happens. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that is certainly not crucial to the progression of the story, but the way they have filmed it, the way they've edited it together, it's just utterly fascinating. Basically about this 65-year-old woman who she doesn't look like she's 65 on this picture, but she's 65. She's lived in this one apartment. She seems to have a very close relationship to the apartment. She refuses to move, and then this big company gets in the apartment complex, and they buy out all the people who live there. Basically, they buy all the apartments until she's the only one left, but she refuses to move. She refuses to sell her dear apartment to this big company, and that's what it's about. And it's a really great movie. If you haven't seen this, and if you're a fan of world cinema and interested in whatever comes out around the world, this came out last year, I think. Then I definitely recommend checking this out. Then the next one is the last one. It's The Exorcist, which I've certainly seen before a few times, but I decided to watch it again. In my last unboxing I talked about, I bought this because I got a couple other Exorcist movies, and I just wanted to get this 40th anniversary edition. And I was just gonna listen to the commentary, but I ended up watching the movie again. I just felt like it. I don't think I needed to really, but I just wanted to. But I have to say that over the few times that I've seen this, I kind of like it a little bit less each time. That's not to say that it's not a great movie. It's probably still one of my favorite horror movies, I would have to say. But it's not as clearly up there on the #1 spot anymore. It has sort of fallen down a little bit, and I'm not sure exactly why. It just doesn't... There's not enough things about it that intrigues me, which is weird because of the nature of the movie. But I feel like whatever I was thinking about the last time I saw it, I didn't really add anything to that this time, and that's what I was missing. With most movies that you return to that are truly great films, you'll see something new each time. But I don't know if I did this time. I think that was disappointing to me. But it's still, a fantastic horror film, although William Friedkin and William Peter Blatty, who wrote the novel, well, that's something I did learn about the making of the movie, but they don't like the idea of calling this a horror movie, which I guess, in a way I could understand, but have they seen the movie? It's fucking terrifying. Of course it's a horror movie. That's my stance on it, but I suppose I could see what they mean. But anyway, it's yeah, that's it. That's everything for today. Hope you enjoyed it. And I have nothing more to say. But I am looking forward to watching this very much. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you soon.